As the pandemic kept consumers at home, nearly everything they bought was purchased online. MasterCard is out with its latest Recovery Insights report, finding that shift amounted to an additional $900 billion being spent in retail online last year. E-commerce made up roughly $1 out of every $5 spent. The report estimates 20 to 30% of the COVID-related shift to digital is expected to be permanent. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is proposing new rules to avert a wave of foreclosures later this year when millions of homeowners are no longer allowed to put off their mortgage payments. One change would prohibit lenders from starting the foreclosure process before December 31st. The agency is also considering whether to allow earlier foreclosures in certain cases. The CFPB says nearly 3 million homeowners were behind on their loans as of February. In the airline industry, less than 6% of all pilots and flight engineers in the U.S. are women, and only about 10% are Black Americans, Asian, Hispanic, or Latino. United Airlines, the only major U.S. airline to own a flight school, is announcing its new plan to train 5,000 pilots by 2030. At least half will be women or people of color. Errol Barnett has the story.
2 decades ago, near runways like these, a Texas girl was discovering her love of aviation.
My grandmother would take my sisters and I to the airport to watch the airplanes take off and land.
A 6-year-old Tashiana Smith was hooked.
We could actually smell that jet fuel for a couple of days, and I still love that smell today.
So you've been addicted to jet fuel since you were a kid?
Yes, sir.
24-year-old Smith is on a lifelong quest to become a commercial airline pilot, an expensive ambition. Flight training costs an average of $100,000. So over the years, Smith earned several scholarships through nonprofit organizations. She's following in the flight path of people like Marianne Schaefer, a 32-year veteran in the industry who is United Airlines' chief pilot.
I believe it's related to just the thrill of taking off and controlling the airplane. It really is just a feeling of empowerment.
But both Smith and Schaefer say they'd like to see more female representation in the flight deck.
They simply don't have the access or the opportunity.
In an exclusive interview with CBS News, United CEO Scott Kirby is announcing a new effort to bring balance to the flight deck.
We're excited at United to be announcing the United Aviate Academy to address the structural issues with the makeup of our pilots.
The Academy aims to enroll 5,000 new pilots by decade's end, with a benchmark that at least half will be women or minorities. Scholarships can be applied for separately. Smith, an Aviate program applicant, recently toured the flight deck of the 737-800 with Captain Schaefer.
It allows me to know and see that one day I can become a professional pilot.
Fuel for young girls' aviation dreams. Errol Barnett, Houston.
Currently, 7% of United Airlines pilots are women. The company says that's one of the highest in the industry. Coming up, the way you're treated with antibiotics is about to change. Details when Valley News Live at 4 continues.